Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever applies. Another talk and drive, and you may recognize the insides of an Honda NSX as made by Sim Anouk, if I pronounce that right, and myself, Niels Heusinkveld, which is also something you will not be able to pronounce unless you're Dutch. And the guy's pointing to the right. Let's go there. Today, some driving, really, and some talking, hence the name, the talk and drive. But Dave Waters made this little track, Buckmore kart circuit in England. And you're probably thinking, did I get lost on my way to Donington or Brands Hatch or any of the great tracks in England? This is on purpose, to get a feel for the handling of the car in such a tight track. So what I want to do is a bit of somewhat proper driving, and then let's see if we can drift it and what sort of techniques we use to power slide it. I wouldn't call it drifting. And just a word on drifting is what I like is sort of the Tiff Needell, Chris Harris, Tim Schrick type of nutty driving. Always looking for a bit more oversteer. But drifting is, as a sport, takes it a bit further with techniques that I wouldn't really call beautiful. If that's a word, well, of course it's a word, but if you know what I mean, it's the beauty of car control is just using the weight transfer, throttle and steering. In my opinion, those are tools you can use to really go sideways and have fun. The real drifters, amazing as it is how they can keep the car under control at such extreme angles. They got modified steering lock, so they can do like 60-degree steering. They have techniques like the clutch kicking, handbrake. They're not beautiful. They're sort of sledgehammers you bring to a ballet, if that makes any sense. And it's more beautiful, if you ask me, if you just do it by weight transfer and not rely on the sledgehammer, handbrake, clutch kick. They're sort of rude, upsetting techniques. So I don't want to do that. You can hear the sounds that I've made. Perhaps you saw the video of a while ago. I didn't make the sounds. I hate sounds in a way because I'm just no good with the sound editing programs. And that means if the sample isn't nice, I can't really fix it. And I sometimes spend an hour or two trying to make a sample look better or sound better, and at the end it's just worse and I'm frustrated. With vehicle physics, it's more or less, well, logic, it's physics, it makes sense. So you can improve and then learn from your mistakes and improve more. And with sound editing, with editing samples, I'm sort of randomly, I feel like a physics guy using Notepad. You can tweak stuff, but you don't really have a clue. But these samples were pretty nice, and the physics part of sound is great because that's the SFX file in R-Factor, and you can adjust how the samples are blended together. And as you can see, when I'm just idling here, it's not that loud. But then if I floor it, you really get like a big increase in loudness, and that's the thing that I tried Assetto Corsa yesterday. I think it does hold promise, but the sounds don't have any dynamics, because look at the silence here, and then you know that engine really adds some decibels when it's revving hard and under a lot of throttle. And when you try it with headphones, it's such an immersion, and you really get that feeling of speed just from the loudness. And what we won't hear here today is the wind noise, because we only reach second gear. But if you're going fast on the straight, then the wind noise also adds quite a few decibels. So it's a great sense of speed, a sense of immersion. Why on a car track then? That's a bit silly. Well, it's usually the low speed stuff where it can be tricky to get a feel for the simulator. And of course I'm a spoiled bastard with the sim steering wheel, which can add enough weight to be a workout. But there is a lot of feel here, I think, at low speeds as well. And you have to use those triple screens and a lot of steering lock, because these kart circuit hairpins are of course very tight for a big car. So I'm really looking into the left screen now. It's a great way to get used to triple screens, because sometimes the bezels, I do still think they're a bit annoying. And on the big track you sort of tend, at least I did that, to just look in the middle monitor. But on a tight track like this you kind of have a reason to look in those monitors, because you really want to see the apex there. So, a bit of quick driving. We will have some arguments with the gearbox, because second gear is the best I think for quick driving, but for drifting we may end up with some trouble. Not having the torque in second gear, not having the revs in first gear. Slowly breaking into this. So what I'm trying to feel here is the balance. To realize if a mid-engined car like this, that the balance is greatly influenced by the throttle. So if you're off the throttle, there is a possibility of quick weight transfer and oversteer during a transition from left to right. But when you keep a bit of throttle, it tends to be quite stable. And when you keep a lot of throttle, then it depends. You can get understeer or oversteer. So it's really quite open. So now I go a bit too quickly and look at the massive understeer. Or here I go too quickly. Oh, not making it. Understeer, understeer, understeer. So does this car understeer? No. It's the lack of talent displayed there that causes the understeer. So with a bit of throttle, these transitions are absolutely fine. Now off throttle it turns a bit more generously. It doesn't oversteer, but it's more neutral. And regarding a lot of throttle and getting understeer or oversteer, that depends mainly on what the car is doing, where it's moving and how much steering you apply. So something like a drift bible doesn't really exist. Of course you can make a video and explain a couple of things or about just driving techniques. I think it's pretty difficult and you have to get a feel for it. And some people just keep understeering and complaining about the car. So a bit of throttle and then though that chicane is just fine. Let's go a bit quicker now. You can clearly see that this attempt at an intelligent conversation is costing me many seconds. You can also hear that when I use more full throttle the engine is louder. So my instruments for oversteer are off throttle steering, quick steering inputs, or a lot of throttle after I've done the right steering input. If the car is starting to rotate, then I can use more throttle. My target here is not to go super sideways, but to have a reasonably quick lap time. So ideally I don't want to steer that much. Okay, so I had a bit of throttle, now I'm going to do a bit of a lift here and a bit of a jerk, as you saw there. Oh, a bit too much. But already I was, instead of very neutral that chicane, or that left-right transition, it was a bit oversteery, borderline scary. You can use the going over the hill here to get a bit of oversteer. The nice thing about oversteer in that corner is that the steering for opposite lock is the same lock you want to apply for the downhill left-hander. Which is ideal if you're lazy like me. You don't have to steer again because the wheel's already pointing in that direction from the opposite lock of the previous corner. Nice and neutral. On the road, too late or not? No, I'm still making it. See if I can do this neutral now. Bit of a brake, some throttle, lift. So what I did there was just a brief lift. It's almost invisible, I guess. And during the lift I did a bit of a flick of the steering to get the car to rotate right. It's just simple addition basically. The maximum input you can give is 100%, but you can have 100% steering, 100% throttle, 100% brakes. You can never have those two together. So if you have 50% steering, the most you can do is 50% braking or 50% throttle. If you do 100% throttle, ideally you don't have that much steering applied. It's something of that, and it has to become logical. When you remove the brake, then you can add the steering at the same time. If you're on the brakes and adding the steering, you most likely will get some understeer. But some minutes ago I promised to go quicker and I keep on rambling. Alright. No power steering in the NSX. So the steering is fairly heavy. The sim steering wheel is such a in the league of its own, of course. For the price you expect that, but it's so completely different to anything. It's such a nice feeling. Almost on the limiter. Some understeer, as you can see. Don't want that braking too late. Over the curb, over that one. Nice. That curb, much over the inside, almost touching there. Almost touching this wall. Ooh, very close. I didn't check on eBay what the body panels of an NSX go for. Probably quite a lot, so luckily this isn't real, in case you didn't notice. Excuse me. Brake hard and let go of the brake, turn in, neutral, four-wheel drift. And then as I was explaining that, got a bit of understeer. It sounds sluggish in second gear, but I think first gear we just run out of revs. So, curb, oh, opposite lock. During the lift, you saw the weight transfer and the steering apply opposite lock by itself. So really lifting off during a transition from left to right. If you lift off there, then you can get big oversteer. Be very careful there. That was pretty quick. Over the curb. Rev limiter. Almost, yeah, just hit it there. Slight brakes, got some oversteer. Let's keep it going, and then snap, and then this snap, and then we run out of torque. So there was some drifting. Let's see here if we do an abrupt lift and jerk. Lift, transfer, power stabilizes on the exit. Probably not enough torque here too. And Scandinavian, I'm not sure if I can make it. Yes, second gear, flick, just by lifting the weight transfer. So getting hard work now. Left, right, keep it going here, all the way beyond the corner. Keep it going and then let go, and then the other way. Oh, downshift. Yeah, that's bad. Second gear. Lift, transition, almost hit the inside. So but it's the same car that can do this, you know. Oh, on the steer, on the steer, on the steer, on the steer, on the steer. That's all me. You need certain genes that despise understeer. Right, left, right. Keep it going, keep it going. Way beyond the corner here. More sideways. Yeah, that's good. I think we make... Did downshift there. Transition. Excellent. That was better. Ooh, almost again. Place your bets on how many body panels I will damage. Oh, spinning. Almost, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, as you can see, there's a kart shop there. I just wanted to point that out. So, hard work. Right, left, right. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. All the way to here and then touch of the brakes. Not much. Full throttle, hopefully I can... Oh, ooh, that was almost a panel there. Those left rear panels cannot come cheap. Flick. Full lock. Weight transfer. I'm a bit too scared to try it here. Do it next lap. It's downhill and slides always last longer downhill. Route here. Lift. Keep it. Can I keep it? Second gear. Ooh, backs out, sadly. Over those curbs. Over this one. Left, right. Keep it going, keep it going. And then full throttle. Oh, close to the wall. Downshift. Oh, a bit too tight there. And weight transfer. It's oh, I was going to try it here. Well, lucky to come out of that corner with more or less fully intact. That was a bit rude. NSX. Lift. Neutral. Oversteer, oversteer. Well, somebody had to cut the grass. Left. Right. Balance. Okay, keep it going. All the way to the lock stops. Oh no, that's not good. Well, there's just one way to arrive at this hairpin. Flick. Lift. Weight transfer. Not on the limit there, so it wasn't as violent. Even the sun is coming out outside. It's probably a hint I should get out more. Okay. Less torque you have, such as their low revs, the more sort of Scandinavian flick you have to do. Chickened out. Oh, chickened out. Went for the downshift. And in that first gear, what I can do is just give it a boot of throttle and then lift. And then it will start to come around and then you throttle it again. See if I can do that next turn. So... Oh. Yeah, mid-corner downshift, Niels. Just explain that to everybody. So, want to get oversteer. Throttle, lift, throttle. Very easy, actually. See if I can go on the straight. Oh, I was trying to go sideways on the straight. It's not a drift car. 300 horsepower, a bit less. Oh, first, yes, first body panel damage. Video is taking a while now. Sorry, it's just too much fun. Why would I stop now? It's lift, throttle, there it comes. Ooh. Very hard work to keep it going in second gear because you have to continuously throw it from left to right. Because pure traction grip isn't enough to I don't have enough power to overcome the traction. So I have to use the cornering to take the traction force away. Lift. Still not quite on a limit, otherwise it would be more snappy. I wouldn't advise you to let go of the steering wheel in your real car. It's such hard work there. If I had 500 horsepower, I wouldn't have to flick the car that much. I could just use my right foot. But it's a bit more work keeping a mid-engined 280 horsepower car sideways. On the lock stops. And oh, I lost it again. Imagine that I would have borrowed this car from somebody and I was doing this and he's standing in the crowd having multiple heart attacks. Guess I just have a rich imagination that way. Quite an inside line. Oh, yeah, I just hit the grass there. Is anybody still watching? Oh, yeah, that's nice. Oh, you know, 30 degrees of steering lock can only get you so sideways. Oh, that's too much, too soon. Breaking multiple fingers. Over that curb and then see if I can go on a straight. I must drift on a straight at least once. Oh, not making that. Let's end with sane driving. If I can program my brain to calm down. Sane driving, Niels. Sane. Ooh, big stutter. With a little throttle there, those transitions are absolutely fine. Oh, hard curb. Would have been suspension damage. Very sorry to the owner who's standing in the crowd, receiving first aid from the ambulance personnel. Braking very late. Don't want oversteer there. But it's hard not to get that if you enter a corner too late. Stick to the inside and then over the curb on the left, straight line it, over the curb, floor it, hard on the brakes, into the, still braking, waiting, almost full throttle, slowly. Slight oversteer, but that's fast oversteer, that's not the problem. Hard curb still. The inside, over the curb, straight line it.